It was Christmas Eve, and the old house was filled with the warmth of crackling firelight. A small group of friends had gathered, laughing and drinking, but with an unmistakable edge of excitement in the air. The house had a history no one cared to talk about. Tonight, a strange energy felt thicker than usual, like an invisible fog that clung to the walls. "I think it's time for a game," Clara announced, her eyes gleaming mischievously. "How about Smee?" "Smee?" Will raised an eyebrow. "What's that? Some kind of hide and seek?" "Exactly," Clara said. "One person hides, and the rest have to find them. When they do, that person becomes Smee. The game goes on until everyone's caught. Simple, right?" The others nodded, eager to participate. Clara handed out cards, and the game began. Jack, the youngest, drew the short straw and nervously headed for the dark hallway. The others waited in the dim living room, scanning the corners. The clock ticked louder than it should have, the old floorboards creaking under their feet. Ready or not, here we come, Will called, and they began their search. The room stretched out before them, unfamiliar and unsettling. Soon, they found Jack's footprints leading to a narrow staircase that spiraled upwards. "Why would he go up there?" Clara murmured, eyeing the steep steps. It was the attic, a place no one dared visit. "I guess he's hiding in the attic," Rachel shrugged. "Let's go get him." They ascended, breath quickening, as the dark air pressed down. At the top, they reached the attic door, which creaked open on its own, revealing blackness beyond. "Jack?" Will's voice cracked slightly as he stepped forward, his phone acting as a weak beacon. The glow illuminated nothing but shadows. A faint sound, like footsteps on dust, made them freeze. "Jack," Clara called again, but no response came. Then a movement in the corner caught their attention. It was too fast. A shadow. A figure standing still, just out of the light's reach. Then the whisper came. "Smee." The group turned as one, hearts pounding, but no one had moved. The voice was hollow, distant, like it came from beyond the attic walls. "What the hell was that?" Rachel gasped. "It's just Jack trying to freak us out," Will said, though his voice trembled. They nodded, but none dared move. The air grew heavier, colder. Another whisper, "Smee." "Smee," Clara turned to the others. "That's not Jack's voice," she whispered, her face pale. The figure in the corner shifted. A tall man in dark red clothes, his face half covered by a blackened hood, stood unnervingly still. His glowing red eyes locked onto them, filled with hunger. Who are you?" Rachel stammered. The figure tilted his head slowly, a grin stretching across his face. His teeth were sharp like a wild animal's. "Smee," he whispered again. A sudden realization hit. This wasn't a game. It never had been. They weren't alone in the house. Jack's voice came from behind them, soft and eerie. "I told you not to play. Not here." They spun around, eyes wide with shock. Jack stood in the doorway, his body hunched, eyes glazed and unblinking. Something was wrong with him. His mouth twitched, but the words that came out were not his own. "Smee," he echoed, his voice joining the twisted chorus. The air grew colder, thick with the sense that they were being watched. The lights flickered, and the figure in the corner slowly stepped forward. The shadows grew longer, darker, and the walls seemed to close in around them. There was no escape. As the others backed away, Jack's voice, now distorted, echoed through the house. "You're playing the game now, the real game." The man in the corner smiled, his red eyes gleaming. "Smee." And then the lights went out. The game had truly begun. The air felt thick, heavy, as the darkness consumed them. Clara whispered, "What do we do now?" Will's voice barely broke through the silence. We have to find a way out." But even as he spoke, it felt like the house had swallowed them whole. Every door, every window seemed miles away. They were trapped. The red-eyed figure didn't move, but they could sense it drawing nearer. Another whisper, soft and daunting, filled the air. "Zmi." It echoed like a promise, a warning. Jack, now standing motionless by the door, repeated the words again. "Zmi." The figure's grin widened, and the shadows stretched farther. The house, once warm and welcoming, had turned into a living nightmare. The real game had begun.